is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Parker's POV, where today we'll be taking a look at this 2022 travel light. This is the 840 SBRX, part of the Peak 9 lineup. Super cool lightweight truck camper. I'm making this walkthrough video for a gentleman over in Pocatello, Idaho. His name is Andy. So Andy, if you're watching, I hope this video helps. And yeah, let's hop into this. So before I start the walkthrough here, we're going to go ahead and list some specs on the screen. So feel free to pause the video to review those. And let's get started. So I'm going to start here on the passenger side of the camper and kind of work my way around. So first things first, we're going to have tinted windows all the way around this thing. Now, because this unit does have a gas electric refrigerator, it's going to have an access panel here. That is not only so you can access and perform maintenance on the fridge, but also so the fridge can breathe. Down low here is where we'll have our propane. So one singular 20-pound propane tank in this storage box here. And then notice we have a Ryco lift system. So awesome system, electric jacks. There's basically a remote that powers them up and down. So very, very convenient. And I like that they're white. They match the rest of the camper very, very well. As you can see on the side of the camper, I don't see any signs of any delamination from what I can tell. No bubbling, no blistering, anything like that in the fiberglass. Everything still looks nice and smooth. I'm going to show you the underside here just a little bit. So, of course, you're going to have one of your tie-down points here. Then you got this nice diamond plating underneath. Then it looks like that's maybe one of your gas lines running underneath the camper here. So, yeah, that goes from your propane over on this side, and it wraps around to the front here. All right, and that's pretty much it as far as the underside there. Again, another look at one of your jacks here. Now, if you're trying to put this on a short bed dually, you will need dually swing out brackets, but if it's not a dually, you'll be fine with how this one is currently equipped. All right, one of the things I like about the Peak 9 is it has that molded front cap, which not only looks really good, but it's also going to help with water intrusion. For the most part, this front cap looks to be in really good shape. A little dirty. This camper has not been washed or cleaned just yet, so it's got some dead bugs and things on it. Didn't see anything major. There's a couple, if I get in real close here, a couple little stress marks here and there, like maybe a little bit more up here. But for the most part, this cap's in really good shape, and nothing busted or anything on it. Graphics are also in good shape. Don't seem to be too sun faded or peeling or cracked or anything like that. Now coming underneath the overhang here, you do get two rubber bumpers that would be mounted here and here. You'll see those inside. So those are, I'm guessing they maybe came off or something happened. So we would fasten those back on, just so you know. And of course you're gonna have your little pass-through window there, which is nice. Now coming back to this side, not a whole lot going on the, I guess this would be the driver's side. Yeah, not a whole lot going on over here. A lot of the same stuff. You do get an on-demand water heater on this unit, which is kind of nice. So you'll never really run out of hot water so long as you've got water. Fresh water and city water connections located up front here. And then this does have a 30 amp cable that comes with it. That is going to be your shore power. Now notice your 7-way is on the front of the camper here, and it's going to plug in just on the underside right here. So if you've got a 7-way in the bed of your truck, you're going to want that to be on the driver's side. Again, that nice diamond plating underneath here. Very nice. So in addition to the water heater, of course, you're going to have your furnace here. That is a propane furnace. Outdoor shower on this model as well. And then you've got your sewer hose storage in here. And then this side's just going to be where you put your battery or batteries. This is just a test battery that we threw on here. So that will not come with the camper, in case you're wondering. Oh, and while we're in here, this is the little controller for the jacks. So you'll pull that out, and that's what raises and lowers these power jacks. And then we'll find ourselves back at the rear. So you do have 110 outlets on the back. You've got your cable connections there. This model does have a small solar panel on top. It looks to be like 100 watts, and that's just your solar wires that go to the roof. In fact, now would be a good time. I'll go ahead and insert a small clip of the roof, so feel free to pause the video as needed to see that. Again, it's a little dirty, but yeah, it's got a roof-mounted AC, solar, the whole 9 yards up top, and the seals seem to be in really good shape. But of course, we will go through and check those when it runs through service. Back to the rear here, we do have the camp light on the back here, and it is pre-wired for a backup camera. Very nice. And then you get a full height door, which is nice as well. So some of those pop-ups and things have those tiny little doors that you really have to duck when you get in. Otherwise, you're going to bang your head pretty hard. Now, before we hop inside, I want to go ahead and show the weight of the camper. So it's saying this thing weighs 2,325 pounds with standard equipment, meaning full propane and full water. So you'll definitely want at least a 3/4 ton, maybe even a 1-ton truck, depending on what you've got to put this thing on top of. So anyway, that pretty much sums it up for the outside. We'll go ahead and head inside. All right, so hopping inside the camper here real quick, we'll start at the bathroom and then we'll work our way around here. But this unit does have a wet bath. So there's a look at your foot flush toilet there. And this is all one compartment. Again, this is a wet bath, so your shower and everything's going to be all in one compartment. And then if you look up here, that's going to be your ventilation fan for when you're showering. All right, now flipping around this way, this is going to be a quick look at the gas electric fridge. So this is a combination fridge, so you'll have your freezer up top here, and then you've got your fridge down below. Nice that it can run on propane and that you have the option. Thermostat's going to be located on the side here. Sorry about the lighting in here. It's a little dark. I don't have this thing plugged in to power right now, but some nice overhead storage up top here above your couch, which extends to this side as well. Now you do get indoor and outdoor speakers on this unit, so that's going to be your radio. So you'll have zone A, which is indoor, and zone B, which is outdoor, and that's going to be how you control that. Nice 3-person couch here with a solid surface counter top table here. This table can obviously be taken out or removed, and this is a jackknife sofa, so this whole thing will fold flat to create an additional sleeping space. There's that 30-amp power cord I told you about earlier. All right, we got a little bit of carpet down here. There's actually a hard linoleum floor in here, so that's kind of what the flooring looks like. They just put a carpet in here, the previous owner anyway. Now underneath here is where you'll have your tank levels, battery levels, water pump controls. Your water heater controller is going to be here. You've got some more 110 outlets here. Battery disconnect switch, which is nice. That's included from the factory, and then your CO2 detector. This is going to be your converter box with all your fuses and relay switches. And then up top here, you've just got this additional, I guess I would call this a step. That's what you're going to stand on to get into your queen size bed here. Let's see what's underneath here. So it looks like that's just going to be access to all of your electrical in the camper. Perfect. All right, now panning around this way, lots of drawers here, which I think there might be, oh yeah, there's a child lock on it. There we go. Lots of drawers here. Looks like these are maybe some of the manuals for the appliances in the unit here. Yeah, all of these are going to have child locks on them, probably so they're not opening and closing while you're driving, which makes sense. And then you do get a nice little storage compartment here. Now coming back to the kitchen, 2-burner stove on this unit. Again, these countertops are solid surface, not just that cheap particle board wrapped membrane that you'll see in some lower end stuff. And then under here, that's going to be access to that water heater. Furnace, not exhaust, but this is where the furnace is going to pump out all the hot air, and then more access to some of that underneath storage, or excuse me, underneath electrical. All right, and then you are going to get a nice stainless steel sink here with stainless fixtures, overhead storage above that, and then you are also going to get a microwave. Alrighty. Now, something cool about this Dometic roof-mounted AC is this has what's called a heat pump built into it. So if you do not want to run the furnace and burn propane, and you're plugged into maybe a generator or a campground, this has a heat pump, so you can just turn that on, and that's actually going to put out a decent amount of heat. Now, it won't heat this thing up quite like the furnace would, but it's enough to take the chill off, of course. And then this does have a brand new mattress in it. It's kind of a nice memory foam material. And then over here on the sides, we'll have a little bit of storage on both sides of the bed. Notice this one does have the TV. This is a 110 TV, just so we're all on the same page, not a 12-volt TV. And then you do have some USB ports up on the roof, kind of back behind there. It's kind of hard to get that angle for you, but anyway. And then on this side, you're going to have additional storage there. And then additional, it looks like, storage on this side of the bed. Nice big windows, though, on both sides here. Very nice. I don't see anywhere, at least looking on the inside out, any sort of water damage or anything. Everything seems to look like it's in good shape here. Of course, again, they will go through, check any seals that need resealed, that kind of thing. And then I guess I didn't show you, there's a pretty big window on this side here. So that just opens up, of course, to the outside. So anyway, that's just a brief look, I guess, at the front here, or excuse me, the inside. Notice those are those front bumpers that were missing on the front. Of course, we would reinstall those. I'm not entirely sure why they're not on there, but we would make sure that this thing is ready to be mounted. So hopefully this video helps. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. I do work here at Uncharted Recreation. My email address is in my bio. So thanks for watching, everybody.